haven't been part of a lot of games to where you're going to win the turnover battle, you're going to win the rushing yards, you're going to have more sacks, you're going to be 6 for 6 in the red zone, and you're going to come up short of point, 35-34. And there's so many things in that game that it's not one play, it's multiple plays that you can put together to get us at this point. When you give up 2 quick touchdowns right there in the fourth quarter, it changes the way the clock, how we're going to manage the clock and what we have to do. We missed a field goal in the first half that put us in a situation where they're having to do more. And at that point, if you make that, it's 37-35. So there's so many things instead of that last play. I'm really proud of the young guys that had to come in and play. I'll tell you right now, we do not know what exactly it is with Barron's non-throwing shoulder. We had to we x-rayed it here. The x-ray was not to where we could see anything, but he was really sore, and so we felt like we couldn't put him back in at that point. So I don't know exactly what it is. So whenever you're seeing it, it's not something that is major, but there is something there. It's not his AC. We feel like it's his collarbone, but we cannot see exactly. And so, to the touch and to the point, he was really sore. So that's why I went with Will Hammond. I thought Will did a good job in the second half, and just a really tough loss. Really tough loss. The guys in that locker room are hurting, and they're taking it really hard, and I really feel for them. And I'll open up with questions.
Coach, I know that it changed since they scored so quickly after they got the ball back, but you're at the TCU 6, and you decided to kick the field goal on fourth down. I guess what went into that decision, and was there any thought to go to put a touchdown on the board there?
Yeah, it was 4th and 4. We would have kept, the way we looked at it, we could have got 4th and 2 or 4th and 1, and we were going to have it go. But with 4th and 4, we feel like get points on the board, make it to where to beat us they would have to score 2 touchdowns, and they were able to score the 2 touchdowns. That was the thing. Up until those points, they scored 14 points in the first half. Number 3 did a great job, and they had some stuff schemed up with number 3. But other than that, they were having to drive the field. We were causing turnovers. We felt really good on defense, and that was the thing that we talked about that we can't do. Is you can't give up big plays. We lose our post player on the 1 to 18. That was a long play, and then we just don't get 88 out of bounds. We're right there, and we don't finish the play, and he scores. And those 2 things right there, totally changed the way the clock was going to have to be managed in the fourth quarter. We thought about it with that 4th and 4, but it was more, hey, we could have got 4th and 1, it was a go. If we could have got 4th and 2, it's a go. We just wanted to push it to where they would have to score 2 touchdowns to beat us.
I know it came down to that last play where Will fumbles, but could you explain the thought process, true and block, and you're in field goal range, and putting the ball in a freshman quarterback's hands like that?
Yeah, we were really, we put it in his hand the entire second half, so that's the biggest thing. Will feels terrible, and I said, Will, there's going to be so many other plays throughout this game. That's just the one that everybody's going to see, and it's easy to talk about. Really, we were trying to get the ball centered. We were in a good position to kick the field goal. We felt like that we could, pick up some yardage with that play, and it's frustrating. I'll see it. The frustrating thing was, not the frustrating thing, but like on that play, you see the fumble. They call that we're down on the field, so you would think you've got to see definitive recovery. And it's going to be interesting to see that, because from our point of view, our tablets, everything like that, you couldn't see a definitive recovery other than after it was all over in the pile, and we felt like Will had the ball, and we're going to the next play.
Coach, let's just, if you mind, just going into Will's performance just a little bit more. That's a really big stage he just kind of had to step into, especially as a freshman. Came out here for 121 yards and a touchdown. No interceptions in the second half. Of course, he had that last fumble, but like talking about like how he ended the game, yeah, but like talk about how he basically gave y'all the 2-touchdown lead in that second half too.
Yeah, if you take that last play, which everybody's going to talk about the last play, but up until that point, there's a couple plays in there you'd like to have back, but he played really well, and it didn't surprise me at all. That guy comes out, prepares. He every Tuesday before we ever go to meetings, he is in the indoor going through the script for Tuesday's practice. And that's just how he is. And we've talked all year long. If something happens where I've always said if Barron's helmet comes off and we can't get it fixed for a couple of plays, and you've got to lead us down to score, can you do it? And he's, without hesitation. And that's the deal. I hate it for him because, again, we're down 35-34, and he led us down the field again to have the opportunity to kick a field goal. And, man, it's just unfortunate right there that we don't get that opportunity to kick the field goal.
And, Coach, on defense, it seems like y'all have been a bit of a mixed bag this year. It's like you make the outstanding play, y'all play well, you get takeaways, you make stops, but every once in a while it's like the other team can pop a big play on us. What is that next step to take to where it's like, all right, we're moving from a good defense to the point where we want to be elite defense?
Yeah, the two big plays are the ones that's going to come back and really kick us in the tail because I really did, up until that point, I thought we played a really good game. I think they executed the game plan. We tried to pressure the quarterback more, with different, sim pressures or man-free pressures. I thought, and just rushing forward, we just rushed forward on that one that we got the sack fumble with Harvey Dyson. And I thought they did a good job. It goes back to, being in position to make plays. The second to the last one where we gave up the big play, man, I just frustrated because you want, when you're talking about them driving the field, you want to have a post safety in the middle of the field, and we didn't. And we lost him. We'll have to see on film exactly where he ended up. If they had a route that pulled him, if you have a post safety in the middle of the field, you have a chance to knock that ball down, and we didn't. And then those two, we just kept talking. Get the ball down, make them drive the field. Whenever we made them drive the field, they made mistakes. That was the whole part of it. And then we give up 2 cheap touchdowns and end up losing the game off of 2 cheap touchdowns. 2 things that we couldn't do, or one thing that we couldn't do, and we did them on 2 consecutive drives.
How much did you expect saving on the play under center? Was it more or less than you expected going?
We expected some Wildcat stuff, so we had some stuff called for that. We did not play, everybody calls it imposter whenever you got a receiver in the backfield. So the touchdown, the post, the backer doesn't get over. If nothing else, you want the backer to friggin' take a 15-yard penalty, and we let him run free. And again, you go back on that play, we don't have a post safety in the middle of the field again. Now it's a call, so we're not going to. We've got too high, and he splits them. But you want to recognize that, and you want that linebacker running, but you also, Jay, if he goes up to shoot and we lose, you just got to grab onto him. We totally missed him. Those are 2 big plays in the first half. I thought we adjusted well to it because those are only, for a long time, the only points that we gave up, and until that 4th quarter.
There is a growing conversation that there's a good chunk of missed tackles in these games. Is that one of your biggest things that you feel the defense needs to improve on right now?
In this one, 100%. Because the very first big play with him, we have an unblocked safety that we got an unblocked linebacker and an unblocked boundary safety that both missed the tackle. and you just want to get the ball down so you can play another snap, and we don't. I did think that we tackled better from that point, you know, but and defensively, it just goes back to the fourth quarter. You give up two huge plays. That one of them was a touchdown, and one of them got them down, you know, to really frustrating.
Coach, I want to kind of look at the brighter side of things, and one was, you know, Reese Burkhardt's touchdown that we thought was going to be a field goal. Just kind of talk about what went on behind that, kind of the mindset, that play call, everything.
Yeah, we, you know, I thought Kenny did a good job. We've had that. We've repped it at different times. You know, you want to make sure that you get the look where they're not coming out playing fake. They didn't, you know, and so it was a perfect call. We really felt like we had it from the standpoint in this game, and you know, we were going to do it with him just because he's a little bit faster than Gino, and it worked out. Really kind of changed the momentum in the first half.
Joey, staying on field goal situations, when you had the 50-yarder, I know you're obviously your pattern all year has been alternate kickers, but considered it was from 50, was that do you second guess yourself at all that you should have had Gino out there since he's kind of been your 1A guy?
You know, is that the first field goal we missed this year?
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying trust me because I can't remember. You know, looking back, but whenever we go in, the first thing I ask whenever I got the headsets on, I flip over to Tyler Studeneck and I said, "What's the kick line?" And if it's different for any of them, they're going to tell me. So they'll say Reese is this, you know, Gino's this. But whenever in warm-up, they both were the same. I think we had the kick line to the 32 going into their scoreboard, and maybe the kick line at the 37 going into their locker room. So we got to that point where you know, we felt like it was making a field goal and came up short. I think we might have pushed it to the right. I know it was short. I can't remember. We pushed it to the right. Yeah.
Got time for a couple more.
And on the last play on the fumble, obviously, Will keeps it.
Yeah.
Should have all been in Taj's hands and stuff. It's Taj. Of course, Taj has fumbled and Taj has
Yeah.
fumbled too.
I mean, you know, of course, again, hindsight. But you go back. I mean, he pulled the ball and got us down there, got a first down. I mean, he had run the ball throughout the game, you know, and so you look and you go like, yeah, but I mean, we felt like it was a safe play. We felt like that we were going to get a good kick from there and have to play defense, and man, they did a great job of knocking the ball out.
Coach, with two losses like this over the last 2 weeks, I guess, how do you build forward and try and, you know, get ball eligible and get, you know, as good as you can the rest of the season?
Yeah, that's what's frustrating. You know, we really wanted to get bowl eligible this week to go into the Iowa State game with one loss. You know, and they're undefeated, and it felt like that was going to be a huge game. It goes back to what we talked about. We've talked about in the summer. We talked about media day of playing meaningful games in November. You know, this was a big game for us to be able to go into November and it mean more than just getting bowl eligible. You know, now it shifts a little bit to where we're going into a great atmosphere, hostile atmosphere. They're a really good team. They're undefeated right now, you know, and we're coming off 2 losses, and this is going to sting. I think we'll bounce back, but I mean, when you lose like this really, you know, checks your character of your team. You know, especially when you lose like this and possibly could be banged up, and you know, hopefully Barron's ready to go next week, but you could be banged up going in starting a freshman quarterback against a top 10 team in the nation. And so, you know, these guys, it's a great locker room. We have a really tight team, and they'll respond, you know, and we're going to have to. I mean, that's so good. We're going to have to, because Iowa State's a good team, and it's going to be on a big stage, and we got to be ready to go.
Coach, how frustrating is it that quarterback health just continues to be a problem?
You know, the first 2 years are really frustrating. We've been really healthy this year, you know, and so I mean, we'll have to look at it, but it's frustrating. I mean, anytime you want to play every game when you're starting quarterback, but I'm telling you, and y'all know this, I'm going to be Captain Obvious, we did not lose that game because we didn't have Baron one, because he doesn't play defense. And we didn't lose that game because Will Hammond, the stage was too big for Will Hammond. It wasn't, it's a collective. We're going to go through and watch the film, and on Monday, if you ask me, I'll bet I have 10 to 12 things that the coach's staff and this team did not do to win this game. And I could probably think of 5 or 6 right now, and we've got to execute those. So, but it's frustrating.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.